The story begins in 1817 on a sprawling farm in Adams, Tennessee, a place that would soon be known for something far darker than its crops. Here lived John Bell and his family, respected and ordinary pioneers. Their American dream was about to become America's most terrifying nightmare. The first omen appeared to John Bell himself. While walking his property, he encountered a bizarre creature, a dog with the head of a rabbit, its eyes glowing unnaturally in the dusk. He fired his rifle, and the creature simply vanished. This was only the prelude. Soon the haunting moved from the fields into their home. It started as soft, inexplicable knocking that echoed through their log cabin at night. Within weeks, the knocking became a violent, splintering assault on the doors and walls, as if an invisible giant was trying to break in. The children were tormented. They heard scratching sounds from under their beds and a gnawing noise as if rats were chewing on the bedposts. The entity, whatever it was, seemed to fixate its cruel attention on the youngest daughter, Betsy. She would be awoken by an unseen force ripping the blankets from her body. She was pinched, her hair was pulled, and she complained of being slapped by an invisible hand, leaving red welts on her skin. Disembodied whispers began to weave through the house, a sibilant, hateful sound without a source. The family, once peaceful, was now imprisoned by an escalating, malevolent force. They were exhausted, terrified, and utterly alone. Little did they know, the entity had not even begun its true torment. For our third story, we traveled to Long Island, New York, and a house that would become synonymous with demonic horror. In 1975, George and Kathy Lutz purchased 112 Ocean Avenue. It was their dream home, bought for a price that seemed too good to be true. It was. Just 13 months earlier, the house had been the scene of a brutal mass murder, where Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed his entire family as they slept. The Lutzes, undeterred, moved in with their 3 children. The dream curdled into a nightmare on day 1. A priest invited to bless the home was met with a terrifying command from an unseen voice, screaming, "Get out!" He fled, his hands suddenly covered in painful blisters. The house itself seemed to be possessed. Swarms of flies appeared in the dead of winter. Black sludge oozed from the toilets, and green slime dripped down the walls. George Lutz, a formerly easygoing man, became a grim, angry recluse. He grew cold, lost weight, and spent his days obsessively tending the fireplace, mirroring the habits of the murderer, DeFeo. The family was tormented by unseen forces. Kathy levitated in her sleep, and the children were plagued by a demonic entity they named Jody, a pig-like creature with glowing red eyes that would stare into their windows at night. The family discovered a hidden space in the basement, painted blood red, that the house plans didn't show, a room that felt like a gateway. After 28 days of escalating terror, the Lutz family abandoned everything. They fled in the middle of the night, leaving their home and all their belongings behind, running for their lives from a house that was, and perhaps still is, a gateway to hell itself. In 1971, the Perron family bought their dream home, a large historic farmhouse on 200 acres in Harrisville, Rhode Island. But the moment they moved in, they realized they weren't alone. At first, the spirit seemed harmless. The children befriended the ghosts of other children. A broom would sweep the kitchen by itself, but a darker presence soon made itself known. A smell like rotting meat would fill the house. Every morning at 5:15 a.m., beds would levitate off the floor. The family learned their home had a dark past, centered around a woman named Bathsheba Sherman. They suspected Satanist who lived on the property in the 1800s. She had sacrificed her own infant to the devil and cursed the land before hanging herself from a tree. Her malevolent spirit remained. Bathsheba's rage focused on the mother, Carolyn Perron. She tormented her with fire, stabbed her with a spectral needle, and whispered that she wanted her husband. The haunting culminated in a terrifying night where the family witnessed Carolyn's body being contorted and thrown, her mind temporarily taken over by the evil entity. Unlike other cases, the Perrons didn't flee after 28 days. They were financially trapped. For nearly a decade, they were forced to coexist with the spirits, living in a constant state of fear until they could finally afford to escape, leaving the house and its curse behind for the next unfortunate family.
The Langham Hotel in London is a stunningly luxurious 5-star hotel, often referred to as the original Grand Hotel. But in its sumptuous rooms lies a darker secret. The Langham is thought to be the most haunted hotel in all of London. Many guests report seeing the ghost of a German prince who tragically took his own life before World War I. Others have seen a doctor who murdered his wife and then himself. But the most terrifying encounters happen in room 333. It's here that guests claim to see a man in Victorian evening wear with a ghastly, gaping wound on his face. Would you dare to spend a night? You've heard the tales of room 333, but the Langham Hotel's hauntings are far from over. In 2014, the England cricket team checked in, and the spirits were waiting. Star bowler Stuart Broad woke suddenly at 1:30 a.m., so convinced of a ghostly presence in his room that he had to flee and share with a teammate. He said it was the weirdest feeling he'd ever had. His teammate, Ben Stokes, also reported sleepless nights and strange disturbances on the infamous third floor. The paranormal activity became so intense that players' wives and girlfriends reportedly refused to stay at the hotel. From Victorian-era ghosts to modern-day encounters, the Langham's oldest residents are always ready to welcome new guests.
Your brain was not designed for the world you live in, and it glitches in strange ways. You know that feeling when you hear a statistic like $1 billion or 1 million people? Your brain can't emotionally process it. The number is just an abstract concept. You feel the same about 1 million as you do 1 billion. Ever feel deeply uncomfortable in total silence? It's because your brain is wired for a world full of ambient noise. When it gets none, it assumes something is wrong and enters a state of high alert. Stare at your reflection in a mirror for too long, and your face will begin to distort. This is the Troxler effect. Your brain stops processing the familiar image, and it becomes strange, even monstrous. See a face in a dark corner? Your brain is programmed to find patterns, and it's especially good at finding faces. In low light, it gets it wrong, creating illusions that can be terrifying. And the reason you hate the sound of your own recorded voice? You hear your real voice through bone conduction, which makes it sound deeper. The recording is how everyone else hears you, and to your brain, it sounds like an imposter.
From ancient cellars to historic halls, Britain is filled with whispers of the past. Welcome to Haunted Britain. At the Treasurer's House in York, ghostly Roman legionnaires march through the cellar, eternally bound to their ancient duty. In Salford's Ordsall Hall, the spectral White Lady roams, forever linked to the infamous Guy Fawkes. The Talbot Hotel holds a royal phantom. The ghost of Mary, Queen of Scots, is said to linger, a queen imprisoned even in death. And at the Bournemouth Pavilion Theatre, a tragic accident in the 1930s left a leading lady spirit to haunt the stage forever. These are but a few of the tales that chill the British Isles. Please subscribe for more content like this. They say the walls of Scarborough Castle whisper a grim tale. It's the story of Piers Gaveston, confidant to a king, who met a brutal end, beheaded. Now, his headless spirit is said to wander the ancient grounds, forever searching, forever lost. If you listen closely on a quiet night, you might just hear the phantom footsteps of the king's forgotten friend.
They call me the ghost of room 217. I simply call it housekeeping. This room has been my charge since the hotel opened. After the incident with the gas lantern in 1911, I found I could not leave. My work was not finished. I keep the room tidy, unpacking for guests to ensure order. But I must insist on propriety. Unmarried couples who share a bed will find me a cold and unwelcome visitor between them. Even that troubled writer, Mr. King. I believe my presence gave him quite the nightmare. I am always here. For
You know room 217 from The Shining, but the real story is even creepier. In 1911, a gas explosion nearly killed the head chambermaid, Elizabeth Wilson. She survived, but after her death, she returned to her post. Forever. Guests in room 217 report their suitcases being mysteriously unpacked. Clothes folded. But if you're an unmarried couple sharing a bed, she might just slip between you to enforce old-fashioned morals. It was this room that gave Stephen King a terrifying nightmare of his son being chased down the halls. So, would you dare check in?
This is the Stanley Hotel. Its eerie silence and grand halls were so unsettling, they inspired one of the greatest horror stories ever written. The Shining. The entire fourth floor is known for the sounds of ghostly children playing, their laughter echoing in the dead of night. But it was room 217 that terrified Stephen King, giving him the nightmare that would become a legend. Would you dare check in?
This is Raynham Hall, home to one of the most famous ghosts in history, the Brown Lady. They say she is Lady Dorothy Walpole, locked away by her cruel husband until her death in 1726. Her spirit never left. For centuries, visitors reported seeing her ghostly figure. But in 1936, photographers for Country Life magazine captured this, the most famous ghost photo ever taken. To this day, her lonely ghost is said to wander the halls, forever dressed in the brown brocade that gave her a name.
They say that on the stormiest nights, you can still see it. The Flying Dutchman, a ghostly ship doomed to sail the seven seas forever. Its captain, a man named Van der Decken, swore a blasphemous oath to round the Cape of Good Hope, even if it took him until Judgment Day. As punishment, his ship was cursed, becoming a phantom vessel and an omen of shipwreck to all who witness it. So if you're ever at sea and spot a spectral glow on the horizon, pray it isn't the Dutchman coming to claim you next.